Hello everyone, my name is Leo with SuperTech. Today, if it's the package that I have here that I'm thinking it is, and I don't even know if I said that sentence properly, but I don't care. I believe this is going to be a bid I won on eBay, which is the Xbox One S Gears of War Limited Edition. Basically, the issues that they described was it had no display, so I honestly have no clue what is wrong with this particular console. I did pay $50 for it plus shipping, which is $15, and there was tax to that as well. So I ended up paying about, I think it's like 70, excuse me, about $70 total for this specific console that I am referring to. So that being said, we're gonna go ahead and open up this box real quick. And you and I both, because I have multiple consoles that are actually on the way. So I believe it's this one. I believe it's the Xbox One S Gears of War that's in this box. And we're about to find out together if, in fact, it is. Alrighty. Alrighty, so I do see red already. And it sure enough is this is a huge box for this small thing. You can tell this thing was probably shaking in there all over this box. Alrighty, we've got the console on here. So the console itself, first initial thoughts, it's got a bang here. You can actually tell that it's being dropped from that corner. The eject button, it's got some scratch to it. You can tell that it's been opened. But overall, the case seems to be in very good condition, very good shape. The HDMI port looks to be in good shape as well. Yep, HDMI port seems to be in good shape. The console itself, overall, seems to be in very, very, very good condition as well. Outside of this little dent here, from, I believe it was actually dropped or maybe from shipping right there. Outside from that, and outside from a tiny smudge on the eject button, which that can be cleaned, I believe. Overall, this is actually in really, really, really good condition. Alrighty, so let's see exactly what's going on. Let's see if the console even turns on at all. So we're going to plug in a power cable, and we're going to plug in the HDMI. We're going to be optimistic. Maybe the HDMI cable from the person that sold it to me was wrong. We're going to see if it turns on. No power. They said it was no display, but in fact, there's actually no power to this console. No power at all. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and open this console up. Let's see exactly what's going on here. My prying tools here, the ones I normally use. So I'm going to use this one here to get underneath it. And I can already tell that piece right there was a bit cracked already. Whoever opened it did not know how to open it properly. Alright, we got the top portion off. This is not supposed to come off. We're going to stick that back on with some glue afterwards. It's not supposed to come off completely, but it's okay. This is new. For the Xbox One S, that wasn't on the original one. Alrighty, so we are practically almost down to the nitty gritty. Just a few more screws here. This would be a T8. These gray screws here, by the way, use a T9. And the black screws would be a T8. So all the screws are completely off. Let's go ahead and start taking. We can start with the hard drive. We're going to test to see if the hard drive is actually good as well. Hard drive is out. We are going to test the hard drive. Make sure the hard drive is good. If you haven't seen my other videos, if you don't have one of these, I definitely do recommend them. And I can tell that someone's attempted to do a HDMI port replacement. So you can see there's like flux still left behind. Looks like whoever attempted to do this did not clean up the board at all. Hopefully they didn't mess anything else up. I doubt it though. By the looks of it, they got heat all over here. We're going to remove this clamp though real quick before we do our initial inspection. Alrighty. So let's do an initial inspection on this board. I'm doing a visual inspection. You can tell there's a lot of heat down in this area here. There's still flux left over. I don't see any other damages. I do see that there's a lot of flux still left behind here as well. Let's go under the microscope real quick. I may end up having to change this HDMI port again. Looking to see if there's any missing components of any sorts. So far, I don't think there is any missing components. Oh, wow. Wow. Whomever this person attempted to do the HDMI port replacement definitely did not know what they were doing. They did attempt to run some traces, but they did not do that good of a job. I wonder if they caused a shortage over here. Well, wait, they put a trace So another pin. We trace from here to here. Why would they do that? That's a ground point. You don't do that. You could just put that towards the legs. And honestly, we don't even have to do these ground legs. We got another ground leg over here. We've got another ground leg right there. We've got another, this one here's the ground leg. Yep. Another ground leg. Why would they do that? Wow. So they destroyed 3 completely different ground legs. We see ground leg. That one has a ground leg. It's good. Alright, first things first, let me see if anything shorted. And maybe what's going on with this is going to be this T. That's 70. Wow, I forgot what the name of the. It's 75DP159 retimer chip, video encoder chip. Pretty positive. If there's no video, it's probably that. But now it has no power, so let's see if it's shorted. With the way they have this currently with the jumper cables, I have a feeling that it's probably going to be shorted. Alright, so I'm going to put this with positive and negative. There is a short. We do have a short and 12 volt rail. So let's check these MOSFETs over here. Red probe on ground. Okay, 0.6. It's actually correct. Okay, that one's good. What about this one? 0.6. 0.6. So all 3 of these seem to be good, but we still show to have a short though. .4 volts. Alright, let me inject some voltage to this. Let me inject, I don't know, 1 volt. Looks like it's a dead short. It's not putting any voltage in. I don't know, I just saw something. I don't know if it's major or not. Yo, what is this? Did you see that? Whomever this person was, they literally dropped some solder there as well. Wow. I wonder where else they could have dropped some solder. I don't even know if this chip is any good anymore. We're going to clean it up real quick though. Where's my quick? Of course it's not going to drop any current to it because this thing came loose. Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and clean this up real quick. By the looks of it, looks like it's some low melt solder. By the looks of it, it's low melt solder. Come on, people. Let's check again. I don't believe we have a short anymore. I believe that solder that whomever was doing this job caused a shortage, or was causing a short. Short's no longer there. Alrighty, so now let's go ahead and fix the HDMI port. This chair, though, keeps sinking in on its own, and it is getting on my nerves right now. I'm gonna have to buy me a new chair. Alright, that being said, let's go ahead and remove this HDMI port here. We're gonna put this under the microscope. Alright, first things first, we're gonna add some flux. And we're gonna add some low melt solder to this. I don't know what type of solder this person used, and I'm completely forgetting about the most important tool here, which is the fume extractor. Alrighty. Let's turn this board around. We're gonna do the same thing. Alright, we're going to heat up this board and take this HDMI port out. Let's put just a tad bit of weight on this end of the board, though, so it doesn't move while I tug on this HDMI port. There we go. We got the HDMI port out. It was literally stuck in there. How? I have no clue, but we got it completely out. Let's go ahead and add a little bit more flux to this so we can clean these holes. Remove the low melt solder from these. Alright, so this is what I'm going to do. So that does not want to, it doesn't want to come out, the remainder of that, of the solder that's in there. So I'm going to stick the low melt solder there, melt it. This has to work to where that solder will come out with it. Oh man, I just lost another pad. That's a ground pad too. All these pads are literally tearing off. Man, what's up with that? Let me just warm this up a little bit. Alrighty. This pad go, I don't want them touching. Go there. I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4 pads, possibly 5. And we still have this here take that off. I think these are ground pads. Let me scratch it real quick just to confirm. I'm going to check to see. I believe this one's a ground pad. Red probe on ground. That's a ground pad. That's also a ground pad. So that's 2 ground pads. This one, I'm not sure what this one is. Yeah, this one I'm not so sure. I'm gonna check if this one's a ground pad because I don't know if this one is a ground pad. These have these at the back here. These I can tell that they're ground. This one I'm not so sure. Let me grab another board real quick to validate. This one's pin number... pin number 14. Which is this one here. I'm gonna scratch over here real quick. It is just conformal coating, there's nothing here. Alrighty, good morning everyone. This is actually the following day from when I cleaned these pads completely. I did not proceed from there because I was attempting to figure out what pin 14 was. I did some little investigating, some research and whatnot to try to figure out, because I completely forgot what pin 14 was for, and it looks like it was one of those dummy type of pads that normally just sits there but really doesn't do anything. Alright, so honestly, the only pads that we need to run jumper wires to is actually this one here. This one here, which goes to this end of the filter, which I need to test these EMI filters, honestly. So this one here, so that's one. I think this one will probably still be good. I'm probably going to put just a tad bit of conformal coating on this end. That's only so that it doesn't lift up anymore. So one pad needs to trace, 2 pads. So 1, 2. And that's it. Honestly, in this one here, it's a ground pad. This was a ground pad. So this one, I'm just gonna link it to the leg itself. So this is a ground. This one goes here. This one is just a dummy pad, so nothing goes here. This one I'm gonna add a little bit of confirm coating on there, and then I'm gonna run this one. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the port first, because I can run the grounds to the legs themselves. So that being said, let's go ahead and get the confirm coating actually for this one here, and just add a tad bit right there. Alright, so we've got the confirm coating on there now. Let's go ahead and grab our, we've got here our UV light. UV light is this light here. And we're just going to place it right on the confirm coating itself. We're gonna let it sit there for about a minute or two. We'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. So it's been a couple of minutes now. Let's go ahead and remove the UV light completely off of the board. Let's see if this actually hardened. It should have. Yep, it did. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean the remainder of this off of this pad here. Definitely don't want any other pad being covered by it. This pad now should be secure. And let's go ahead and grab the HDMI port that we're going to add onto this. All right. Got a brand new HDMI port here that we're going to go ahead and put on this board. Alright, let's go ahead and put the port there. Alright, so first things first, what I'm going to put on here is going to be some flux. Alright, let's go ahead and add some flux to this. I'm going to put the pins down. Let me grab my leaded solder. Alright, let me get the fume extractor going. Alright, first things first, I'm going to add some solder to my tip. Then I got to hold down this port. Let me melt this flux real quick a little bit. I want to make sure that these are centered. Okay, yeah, they look to be centered. And let's go ahead and put a little bit of solder to these pins to hold them down. Alright, so I've got the pins with solder now. Let me turn the board around, that way I can secure the pins down below. Alright, let's add some flux to these legs. So tip here, normally what I tend to do is I touch the leg, wait for it to get hot. Then I start adding let it solder to it. Now let's get to the main course here. We have to run some jumper wires. Let's go ahead and clean this up a bit. Alrighty, it's clean, let's dry it up. Alrighty, next step is I need to do the tug test on the pins that do have the pads themselves. There may be one that may be loose, but should probably, this one here, probably move with the pad. Which it is. The pad is with it, and I'll check it right now as well to make sure it's got continuity. All these other pads are good. Alright, so we need to run this jumper wire here to the filter, and we need to run this let me see here, this jumper wire here, so that's 2, all the way to this so this component here, resistor. Found some wire, thicker wire here. I think this wire is perfect. Let me go ahead and tin it real quick. Okay. Oh, that's not good. Let me grab some flux. This is the hardest part, is actually running the jumper wires and keeping this board stable. That old wire is still there. Old wire is out of there. Let's clean this up. Let me clean this up real quick before anything. Can have bridges. Okay, that's cleaned up. Let's put this wire there. Let me straighten it out first though. There we go. And now I got a tin. Well, before I tin though, let me route this wire the way it's supposed to be routed. There we go. And now we need to tin this wire over here as well. So let me put a little bit of flux there again. There we go. This time I think we do have it. Let's clean up again. Alright, let's test. Awesome. That's good. Let's go ahead and cut it. Gotta cut the wire. I need to put a little bit more solder on these pads. There we go. Let's test again. Make sure there's no bridges here. I'm going to test this pin with this one. Okay, no bridges there. Alrighty, let me clean this up just a tad bit more. Gotta run one more jumper wire. Alright, so the other jumper wire I'm running is this one here. Running this jumper wire all the way to here. So that one should be easier. Let me add some solder to this resistor here. Not solder, but a flux, and then a solder as well. Okay, I've got the wire here. Just go ahead and tin it. Okay, we got a bridge when I did that, so let me try to clear it out. I think I had a little bit too much solder on my tip. Let's try this one more time. There we go. Let's route the wire the way it's supposed to go. Alright, let's tin this wire. We're going to tin it right on the resistor in hopes that we also get it stuck in there. Uh-oh. There we go. There we go. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and clean this up now. Alright, now before I run jumper wire for this ground pad over here to this leg, and actually I can run it now, that's not a problem. So I'm going to run a wire from here, go around, and then come all the way over here. The reason I'm doing that is because I don't want to touch these pins over here. This is a ground wire. This ground should not be touching anything besides ground. Alright, let's go ahead and tin this pad here. I always add flux. When you add flux, it helps the solder actually stay on the wire. Alright, that is tinned. Is add this wire. Let me clean the tip. Definitely don't want to add extra solder to this. There we go. And now I'm just going to run this wire. Actually, before I do that, I need to add some solder to that. We're going to add some solder to this leg so that this wire can actually stay there in place. Alrighty. A little bit more flux. Let's route the wire. Alright, we got the wire there. Let's go ahead and tin it. There we go, that wire's not going anywhere. Cut the rest of this wire. And that wire should now be ground. Let's test. I got red probe on ground. And I'm just touching the wire. Yep, that wire is now ground. Let's go ahead and clean up. Add some isopropyl alcohol. Paper towel. And let's clean up gently. Alrighty, so we've added the traces that we need to add to this board. Now what we need to do is add the conformal coating to these wires so that they don't somehow accidentally, touch anything that they're not supposed to touch. So I definitely want these to be completely covered. So let me grab the conformal coating. Let me grab the tweezers I used for this and start adding the conformal coating on this. Alrighty, now we go ahead and put the UV light on here again. And we're gonna let it sit there for a couple of minutes before we do anything else. I'll be right back in about 1 to 2 minutes. Alrighty, we're back. So we've already had it for about 4 minutes, actually, maybe even longer. It's not that hard, honestly. It's not that hard. At least that one isn't. These other ones are. This one isn't. This one is still somewhat loose. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and test for bridges. And then I'll go ahead and set it up afterwards. Leave it a little bit longer for it to harden a little bit more. So we're going to check for bridges, though, to make sure that we don't have any bridges here. 1918 pins are good. 1817s are good. 1716, they're good. 16, 15 are good. Now 14 is just a dummy pin, so there's not going to be nothing there. 13, 12, they're good. 12 and 11 are good. Let me just check to see if they've got continuity here to ground. We do. 11 and 10 good. 10 and 9 good. 9 and 8. They all tested good. There is continuity between this pin and this filter here. I'm just checking continuity between the connections that we just soldered. The jumper wires we just ran. There is continuity there and continuity between that. Alrighty, give me a second. Alrighty, we're back. Sorry about that. Received a phone call from a customer, so I needed to go ahead and take that phone call. So that being said, this console as it stands, basically it's fixed now. Just an overview of everything that's been done to this console. Sorry about that. I've got the window open. The sun's coming in. It's shining really, really, really bright. So everything that's been done to this console. Initial inspection was done. Of course, initial visual view was done to this console. We did notice that this component here was bridged, which is probably what was causing the shortage on this board, because it looks like the previous person that attempted to repair this console dropped some low melt solder. My guess is it was accidentally on here, which bridged a total of 4 pins together. We cleaned that up now. We already cleaned that up. I didn't find anything else on this board. The bottom board here was really, really, really dirty, really messy. I didn't see any missing components at all. We did replace the HDMI port because the port that was in there, I don't know. I just don't feel like the work the previous person did. I don't know if they were a technician as well. I don't know if that port wasn't any good anymore. So I went ahead and changed that out. We ran some jumper cables as well, which is really hard for you to see. We ran all those jumper cables right there for pins 6 6, 16, and then the 15 for the ground. So we ran 3 jumper cables from these ports here. And now it's a matter of testing to see if this board is actually going to work. If this console is actually going to boot up or not. If it doesn't boot up, then it's probably going to be a retiming chip as well. Well, if it boots up and there's no display, then the issue may be the retimer chip. But nevertheless, I don't know if by this pin Z being bridged, if it caused any other shortages on this particular board. But we're about to find out now, actually, because we're about to put this together. I'm just putting my tools up real quick before we proceed. I don't like having a whole bunch of stuff just laying around. Alrighty, so we've cleaned up the desk area, removed all the clutter out of the way. Let's go ahead and test to see if this console will work. I'm not going to change the thermal paste just yet because, well, you never know if it's not going to work. If it doesn't work, there's no point in putting in thermal paste. So first things first. Let's add and I haven't checked the hard drive yet, but it's fine. We're going to go ahead and put the hard drive's going to be last. We're going to put the power supply. Make sure there's nothing metal that's going to bridge any of the components at the bottom touching it. Let's go ahead and plug HDMI, power. I did see the fan spin. I don't know if you saw that. The fan spun on its own. We're going to press the power button now. Actually, give me a second here. All right, I don't know if I'm sure y'all saw the fan spin. We're going to press the power button now. It didn't beep because we did take the speaker off. Fan is spinning. Let me change the screen here to see if we see anything on the screen at all. There we go. We got image on this console as well. And this console is actually fixed. This is a This hard drive doesn't even belong to this console. This is a laptop hard drive. It's a 2 terabyte, which is good. It's a 2 terabyte. Other than that, this console is actually fixed. That's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and put it back together now. I'm going to clean it up, put it back together. I'll come back to you once it's back together, and we'll do some testing with the controller as well. Alrighty, console is back together the way it's supposed to be. Let's go ahead and test this console one last time to make sure that it does everything that it's supposed to do, from being able to launch a game, 1080p, so forth and so on. Just do our regular normal routine. So I've tested, of course, the power button, it being outside of the case. Let's test it outside of the case. Woo! Yeah, it definitely works. It's turning on. There we go. Sounds like there's a CD in there though. Let's press the eject button. Was that a yellow? We got NBA 2K21. Oh, we got a free game here, y'all. I'm not much of a sports guy, but we did get an NBA 2K21. I don't know if any of you guys watching, if you guys are into basketball 21, hit me up, send me a message. I could probably send this over to you. Alrighty, let's grab the control. Let's see if the sync button works. Turn it on. Sync button. Sync button on the console. Yep. Seems like it is synced. Look at all these profiles on this console though. I'm just going to select just a random user for now. Connect to Xbox Network. I don't want to connect to Xbox Network. I just want to be offline. But yeah, this console seems to be working. Let's check settings wise. Settings wise, I want to see if this console goes to 1080p. It is at 1080p. Awesome. Of course, this console does not have 4K resolution. Let's check the storage as well. System storage. This console is a 2 terabyte, which of course shows about 1.6 terabytes of available space, which is good. And it has 1 terabyte currently free. I will sell this console online, either on my Facebook Marketplace and or OfferUp. I'm not sure exactly what amount I'm going to sell this for. Maybe, I don't know, it being a 2 terabyte, maybe $300. That's what I'm going to be asking for. Of course, that's not what it's going to sell for. I know it has some minor wear and tear here, like this end being pushed in a little bit. The back on the bottom of the case, it's got a little crack when they attempted to open it up. And of course, an HDMI port. We ran some jumper wires, but it's functional though. Right now, it's working at 100%. So I am going to ask $300 minimum. I'll probably let it go for like $280. I did buy this console for about $50 plus tax plus shipping, which ended up being about $70. So if I do end up selling it for, let's say for an example, sell it for $300. If I do get the asking price minus $70, I'll end up making about $230 profit on this particular console. So that is basically what the goal is going to be for right now. Apart from all the consoles I'm repairing for customers, if there's any of you that actually need any type of repairs on any of your consoles, PlayStation, Xbox, original Xbox, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, feel free to reach out to me to the email down in the description below. I will also link my address as well, and my website to there as well, where you can go ahead and create the website, within the website, create the ticket, print out the ticket, attach it to your package, so that when you send your package in, I know who it belongs to. I'll repair the consoles and have someone to send it to as well. Other than that, thank you very much for actually staying tuned and watching my video. And yeah, I'll be seeing you on the next video. Thanks, guys. Don't forget, hit the like button and subscribe button as well. Later, guys. Peace.